Parasolution is an alternative treatment facilitator, market researcher and awareness initiative dedicated to the holistic health and sovereignty of the individual. The goal is to assist individuals with understanding and overcoming conditions and states of being that seem to have no obvious treatment or solution. In this video we are faced with an example of such a case. This is an actual subject who is in desperate need of immediate assistance from paranormal activities.
Hi there. I am based in South Africa, Johannesburg. I am looking for help with understanding and putting an end to certain activities caused by a paranormal entity that has attached itself to me. These activities began sometime in the second quarter of 2021 in the form of whispers and voices. I was living in KZN near the coast when it all started. At the time I had relapsed into smoking cigarettes and weed, of which the mind-altering effects did not help with the presence of these voices and actually amplified and made them more profound. Eventually it got to a point where I heard something that made me realize that I was continuously being watched and followed by a presence invisible to the naked eye. The first clear confirmation I received of this were of these voices speaking amongst themselves, acknowledging that I wasn't able to see them. The voices sounded somewhat like children or very tiny people. It wasn't long after that the voices actually introduced themselves to me, referring to themselves as paranormal activities from the earth. A possible suggestion that they are either earthbound or of earthly origin. With time, different type of voices and personas also came into the picture. Basically, ever since emerging they've been causing me nothing but feelings of fear, guilt, confusion and discomfort. It's almost as if they feed or get some sort of pleasure from making me feel this way. Research and relatable information as well as what I have experienced firsthand, suggest and confirm that this paranormal presence falls under the category of what is known as a dark force entity. Manipulation and encouragement towards the overindulgence of food and smoking of cigarettes and weed is one of their goals. They also have been trying to get me to drink alcohol, take man drugs, masturbate, and have sex, particularly with a preference for children. They've also tried to get me to rob, steal, murder and resort to violence and hostility towards those around me. Fortunately, by the grace of a higher power I have not given into the most extreme of these suggestions. The farthest I have ever went was breaking an entry into a guest house and then running away shortly after, when the alarm went off. This paranormal entity openly prides itself in being evil and claimed to be subservient to a master it refers to as President Evil. There have been some nights where I believe that this paranormal entity has performed operations on me, particularly nights where I went to sleep high from smoking weed. I also suspect that I was drugged with something else because of the surreal yet non-defensive feeling I had when these tamperings were being done on my body. These operations felt like I was in two places at once, on my bed and in some gloomy operation room at the same time. I also remember feeling like a certain body of mine was being pushed through some dodgy corridor and into this gloomy operation room, but at the same time, my physical body is lying in my bed. Operations were done to my kidney and lung area from behind, almost as if those organs were being replaced or something was being implanted within them. Same thing happened with my head and brain area. It was as if my skull had been cut open and some adjustments were being made. My neck area and my ears were also tampered with. Something was definitely implanted or placed within those areas as well. I'm not sure if the implants would be visible within this dimension, but I will be going for an X-ray soon to confirm if that is the case. I say this because it seems to me that this entity is operating from another dimension and may be gaining access to me from a energy body of mine that exists within this paranormal realm. It's still also very confusing. And lastly, apart from the operations and implants, I remember a swarm of cool energy or some formless and cold presence entering my body through my nose. I don't recall or remember this swarm of cold energy coming out. I'm not sure about this paranormal entity, if it's earthbound or of extraterrestrial nature. Due to the type of people I've consulted and the research I've done, it seems to be an uncommon case, as I've yet to find any suitable answers or solutions for what I'm facing and going through. As of recording this, it's been more than a year since this paranormal activities began. It's about 9 months since having relocated back to Johannesburg in hopes that I would escape from this entity, but unfortunately it has followed me here. And almost 8 months without smoking cigarettes and weed and also avoiding eating certain foods. The activities that were amplified by the mind-altering effects of weed and cigarettes have become less active. However, I won't say my condition has improved because this paranormal entity is still active and has adapted itself to the changes I've made to my habits. It still harasses me for food and is always working to manipulate me out of my intentions for self-improvement. Smoking and sex is something it seems to crave the most, and because of my progress since its arrival, I get threats that I will see how evil it actually is. This is basically an everyday song that is sung to me by this entity, and I'm grateful that I'm still resisting these types of suggestions. My self-awareness has developed since abstaining from any mind-altering drugs. I will for certain make claim that there are implants or things in my body that shouldn't be there, that allow these paranormal activities to continue even after all the things I've done to put an end to them. My head and brain have implants that make it challenging to think certain thoughts or entertain certain ideas. There's implants around my ear area. Voices dominantly coming through from my left ear, and my right ear rings with a certain hertz frequency or some sort of white noise as if the implant there is malfunctioning. There's also some sort of cool temperature, invisible creature or shadowy fog figure that's continuously wrapped around my head and is always busy with my brain. When I move my hand over my head, there's an invisible and vibrating smudge residue that rubs off onto my hand and lasts for a brief moment. Furthermore, there's noises and movements that happen in my head, face and neck area signifying that something is active there. When I exhale, something or someone attempts to speak or make a suggestion. When I eat, I hear something either than myself chewing and swallowing food. When I hold my breath, I hear something or someone else suffocating and feel them fighting for air. Some of the voices I hear come from within my stomach and torso region. There's this knot I have and feel in my stomach area, almost like a certain kind of swelling. Something is definitely living there. That's why I'm always encouraged and manipulated into overconsumption. I don't eat alone. And also, when I beat against my stomach and torso area with my fist, I can feel something vibrating, moving and readjusting itself. My bones and spine tend to crack as if something is readjusting itself within my body. The voices I hear or have been hearing definitely come from a paranormal and parasite entity that's living inside my body. However, under certain lighting within a room, I sometimes see shadowy ghost and specter figures moving around me. My experience of reality is no longer normal and has become somewhat of a surreal, nightmarish and haunting type of scenario. I'm basically engaged in a daily battle with an invisible enemy that knows my insides and outs, what I'm thinking and feeling, and wants to override my willpower, replace my beliefs and identity, and gain complete control over my physical body. My dreams are almost always manipulated, and my behavior and relationship with friends, family, as well as interactions with people, have and are being affected negatively. As of coming to this public platform for help, the condition and level of discomfort caused by this paranormal entity has reached a desperate and concerning point. This paranormal entity has now begun trying to move my facial muscles as well as my body, limbs, hands and feet without my control. I've tried certain things to combat this condition, sangoma, shaman, I've had modalities performed on me like cord cutting, cord removal and so forth, and of all methods I've tried so far, Reiki healing has had the most profound effect. However, its effects are temporary and my unemployment makes it challenging to receive the pricey treatment on a regular basis. I've been doing research and have developed some hope and interest for mediumship and spirit release therapy as the next possible alternative. However, I'm still not sure if it may be the permanent solution I'm looking for, and also putting money into these things and not getting the results I need is frustrating, especially because the type of money required is quite challenging to come by.
If you're a gifted, trained and skilled practitioner of alternative treatments and medicines and are accustomed with such cases and conditions as the one discussed in this insert, please feel free to make contact via email. The address will be left in the description of this video. If you're able to successfully aid the individual with the treatment of this condition, future reference will be made to you and your specific practice in relation to the treatment of such cases. If you're an individual suffering from similar conditions or know of anyone, make sure to contact the email in the description with the specific details, and we will do our best to assist you with a solution to aiding your unique circumstances. Furthermore, if you are interested and willing to make a donation in order to aid our initiative as well as our subjects, please make sure to contact the email address in the description for more information. Your support is welcomed and greatly appreciated. Light and love be with you. Parasolution, your partner in holistic health and spiritual healing.